chapter 6.2. Man wishes to know what the land of Egypt is like, but does not wish to endure the discomforts and dangers of the voyage. Yet when others who have made the journey tell him about it, he says, I will not believe this until I have seen it with my own eyes. So there is only the choice of making the voyage or accepting the word of those who have done it. So None can say justly, none can justly say, because I have not seen it for myself, because I declined to face the dangers and discomforts, the place does not exist. The master who asked, how shall we live to be in accord with the way of God? He replied, say not that you live for God, for whatever man does serves man. God is served only by serving men. Follow the words of the wise and do not chase after fools. Learn about the ways of life and enjoy them to the full. Life is meant to be lived with excitement and joy, but never for mere pleasure or self-satisfaction. Discipline your daily doings and let those not become burdensome. Earn a congeal livelihood, and in all things you do, be honest, diligent, and careful. Let not your thoughts be the sport of every wind that blows. This thought may come to you. I know imperfect conditions may be put aside. I know impure things can be discarded. But a man may even be blessed with the good things of life and yet remain sorrowful and melancholy, for this he is by nature. Happiness and cheerfulness are not things following from affairs of the day or through circumstances. The sorrow of a sad man comes from within. Things of the daily round of life should be directed in the knowledge of what is for your own good. There must be an understanding of the way of the path. Be upright, conciliatory in speech and rational in bearing, mild but not meek, and with no vain conceit. Be content, having few material wants, frugal and composed in mind. Be discreet, neither insolent nor avaricious. Avaricious. I think that's the word. Do no mean thing, for this is not the way of a knightly man. Never act deceitfully or scorn another unjustly. Be free from sloth and spread goodwill to all. Many will merely read these things, which will go in one ear and out the other. There is no virtue in just reading them. They have to be lived by to be of value. Wisdom can be given to men, but this of itself does not make them wise. Wisdom is like a handful of seeds plucked from the seed bag. There is no value in them unless they be sown, nurtured, and reaped. Be ever mindful of what is done. Know the body as it deals with the outside. A man thinks to himself, this body I wear as a garment is what I make of it. He does not neglect the body and is always aware of its existence and activities. This awareness is called mindfulness. Through bodily contemplation, a state of mindfulness is reached. The mindful man is ever conscious of every action and its consequences. He knows what he does, whether standing still or engaged in some activity. Whatever the body does, he is aware of it and he has it under control. He knows his body to be filled with a variety of contents. He regards it as a peddler's bag. Examine the body daily in contemplation and thus develop mindfulness. Contemplate the body made of earthly elements in solitude and know that which contemplates is the spirit. Think of the body as if dead. What enlivens it? What is life? Be mindful of all your feelings. If experiencing something unpleasant, be mindful that it is so. Be mindful of all the activity about you, of the sighting of the wind, of the song of birds, the rustle of grass, and the whispers of leaves. Know the difference between that which is generated by the body and that which is generated by the spirit. Abide in the mindfulness of feelings. Teach the body to know itself more fully and to comprehend more of its surroundings. When a man is mindful of what flows from the body and what flows from the spirit, then he knows he is body and soul. Be mindful of what is good and what is bad. Thoughts become confused when undirected. So, like horses, they must be kept in hand through the restrictions of bridle and reins. There are lofty thoughts and base thoughts, thoughts which arise through the prompting of the body, urges, and thoughts which arise through the purifying prompting of love. The wise man dwells in mindfulness of all things, not overlooking the urges towards indolence, ill will, resentment, worry, and wavering indecision. Be mindful of ideas and ideals. Be mindful of the full working of the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the ears, and the skin. The true way is the overcoming of self and the mastery over earthly conditions. For as a man changes himself, so does he change his condition. Man must be able to say, this is of me and this is not of me. This is me or this is not me. He must divide himself into two mindfulness, knowing what is of the earth and what is of the spirit. He must travel the great path, conscious of his twin self. He should observe others, whether or not they have the quality of mindfulness. He must be self-possessed by his own spirit. The self-possessed man acts with composure, is mindful and self-aware. The man of turmoil is he who goes abroad with senses unguarded. Without mindfulness, he is unsteady and unstable in thought. The godly life is one which attracts friendship, which is the appreciated revelation of beauty. It is the search for beauty in all things. The holy prophet in his austere, dank, dark cell is not truly holy. The long-faced preacher is not truly holy. The godly life is associated with beauty. Whenever a man reaches out after the beauty found in purity of spirit, he is uplifted. It is by not understanding the true nature of godliness that men have become entangled like fowls in a net. They are like leather covered with mildew, like logs encased with moss. Godliness is attained by abandoning worthless things, by not falling into the fallacies of unchastity, by the repulse of sensuality, and the repudiation of evil. This can be done by mindfulness of such things. When a master takes an apprentice, he gives the first lesson. Come and be disciplined. Learn restraint and obligation. Learn right behavior. When the pupil is controlled, then he gets the second lesson. The master says, seeing things with the eye, do not be misled by their outward appearance. Be mindful as to what they do to you. See with your mind all that the eye sees, and so it is with all the senses. Be aware of everything, experience all things, but do not become immersed in anything. For man is shut off from the spirit by mindlessness. As he becomes more aware of the material things and happenings about him, so does he more and more become mindful of the spirit. He who says, I have no feeling of the spirit, is a man of small mindfulness. He is mindful of what is at his hand, but unmindful of what lies beyond. What lies beyond forms a veil through which he cannot see. How can a man How can a man mindful only of what holds his immediate attention be aware of the world beyond his narrow confines? Be like the spirit-filled earth, who accepts unto herself all the foulness which you cast out of your body, and cleanses and purifies it. She is neither disgusted nor delighted, but transmutes it. Water accepts both foul and fair, for from its embrace both emerge together in goodness. The wind is not disgusted with the foul smells of the earth, but mixes them with the essences of earth life, so they are sources of fragrance. Practice kindness, compassion, poise, and decorum. Contemplate beauty and banish ugliness. Contemplate virtue and goodness and banish carnality. Contemplate the eternal and banish impertinence. For all things of earth must decay and pass away, and it is the destiny of every human being to embark on the dark adventure. Thus the master spoke, and he said, you must accept any intelligent person into the sheepfold, accept all who are willing to follow the light of our way. I say this, not desiring to win followers or wishing to turn others from their ways if they walk in light. I seek only those who walk in darkness or seek a better light. For all journey towards the one light, but not seeing it in its perfection, they must travel by the reflection they see. Each sees a different reflection, and therefore men dispute among themselves as to the nature of the truth behind it all. Be not one who indulges in such futile foolishnesses. Never judge virtue by outward appearance, for then the evildoer as well as the saint may lay claim to it. An artful impostor may gain more admiration than is given to the zeal of a saint. Do not nourish the canker worms of malice, hatred, envy, and jealousy within your bosom. It is truly said that the heart of man is a labyrinth. Goodness is not merely a matter of right action, it includes bravely enduring and surmounting difficulties. The final test of character is when trouble comes in strength. Then the question is not so much whether a man does what is right as to whether he can stand up with integrity to do what life does to him. The anvil stands steady when the hammer falls. Manliness involves recovery from every moral failure. It involves the retention of honor. What honor is to man, chastity is to woman. Honor and manliness endow a man with inner strength. His slightest word, his very presence, bring peace and leaves others strengthened. No man or woman, no matter how humble, can be really good without the earth being better for it, without someone being helped and comforted by that goodness. Words such as these blow against the whirlwind of human nature, yet they are the stuff of the spirit. When the breaths of the multitude blow back the whirlwind, then has life fulfilled its purpose. Say not that the days of victory of good will be brought in with a griffin's egg. No man is free who does not control his own movements. No man is free who is not master of himself. Fear is the tribute the mind of man pays the guilt. He who has never been guilty knows no fear. To see the path of duty and not to follow it is the way of the coward. A man tarnishes the luster of his greatest actions when he applauds them himself. No man is more vile than he who causes a woman to shed tears from the heart, tears generated in remorse and regret. Every maid has the potential for ladyhood. A lady never flaunts her estate, but ever remains modest and reserved. She covers her virtue with ladylike ways, for as a veil adds to beauty, so is chastity enhanced. Shoot. Enhanced by being veiled. The wise woman pays no notice to the spider's lullaby from the lips of a hypocritical men who speak of love. The spider loves its prey. Babblers are not wanted. Shun the sophists and their sophistry, and by dogs going crazy out there. Shun the sophists and their sophistry, and be chary of divinators. Avoid the paynim, and be as strong as a bull, light as a hawk, swift as a deer, and tenacious as a salmon. If things go against you, never despair. To be vanquished and still not surrender, that is victory indeed. Avoid the talebearer, and do not listen to the witch's whisper. Be prudent, giants step off the path in the realm where a dwarf is king. Avoid the daydreamer and the money luster, the vagabond and the woman fascinator. Avoid the honey-tongued hypocrite, for it were better you took a viper to your bosom than to open your heart to one such as these. Do not become a griffin.